Hey, how's it going, everybody? So these next couple videos are going to be a little bit different. I'm actually going to be doing a voiceover over top of this gameplay, and that's basically because these races were extremely tough, and I was so focused that I kept forgetting to talk. So it was basically just silence the entire time, and that might not be the most exciting. So I'm going to kind of give you guys the play-by-plays and everything as we're going through here and whatnot, and basically it's going to be that way for the rest of this GT series. So yeah, I'm in this Lamborghini Huracan GT3 car, and I actually found out after all this that this car was actually not a very good choice. This car is pretty hard to handle, and you'll see right here coming into this corner what happens. I mean, just a tiny little bit of an error or anything really, and this car just gets squirrely on you. It just slides left and right, and this was pre-patch. I know that there was just a patch that was put out over the past couple days that adjusted the handling of rear-wheel drive cars. So I haven't tested yet to see what that looks like with this car now, but when this video was recorded, it was still pre-patch, so it was the old handling model, and this car, from what I've heard, is actually one of the worst handling cars. I could be wrong, but I have heard a couple people mention that this car is not fun to drive. I personally bought it because I'm a Lamborghini fan, and I thought it would be cool. But yeah, this thing ended up being an absolute handful. So now here we are on the second lap. As you can see, I've already passed quite a few cars up into 14th place here. You can see we have 3 cars right here in front of us. So we're going to be kind of coming through here. And I'm taking it easy. I really have to be careful with this car because, I mean, if you overdo it, this car will just absolutely snap on you and you're not going to save it. So trying to be patient here. I was able to finally get past that car. Had to do a little bit of driving in the grass, which was risky, but, you know, this track is slightly narrow, so gave him a little love tap, and we're going to go on by him. And then, as you can see, we're pulling up on this GTR. Now I have to be careful here because this corner is the corner that gets me all the time. So I let off really hard there and just kind of coasted through that corner. It actually seemed to help a bit. So here we come back out onto this straight, and let's see if we can start to catch up. Now this car, compared to these other cars, does have some straight line speed on them, so I'm struggling in the corners because this car is just so loose. But in straight line speed, I'm actually gaining on him quite a bit through these corners. So you can see we're flying up on this Porsche here. I have crashed a couple times on this corner right here, so you have to be really careful. But we end up taking that pretty well. So off we go. You can see we got this big speed boost here. We almost lost it there. Got a little loose, but we're gonna fly through this corner. I really love that corner, how fast you take that. It's pretty awesome. So as you can see with our time here, you know, we're really gaining ground on these people every single time that we're in a straight line. But going through these corners, I have to be so careful that they do start to pull away. So the straights are definitely where it's at for us. Alright, so we have a bit of a gap between us and the next car, so we're really going to be trying to push here to catch up, but also trying to be somewhat careful not to crash here, because I mean, I can't overstate how hard this car is to drive. I need to really test it, but as you can see right there, you know, coming around that corner, it got rather loose. I had to save it, and then as you can see coming into this corner, you know, I tried to give it just a little bit of gas and it starts to snap on me, so I had to let off the gas quickly again. And I mean, I was just barely on the throttle and it was trying to spin. So yeah, I mean, this car was a real handful. I do need to test and see what it's like now that the patch has happened. I haven't driven it since the patch. Maybe this car is a bit more doable now. From what I've heard, the patch really did help things with the rear-wheel drive cars. But as you can see here, man, we get a nice big dive bomb in here. We almost gained all those positions, just couldn't quite squeak it out. But with our straight line speed here, you can see we're getting a nice run on them. Do a little draft. Gave him a little boop since he got in our way. We're going to pass on the outside here. Coming up into 6th place now. It's another 2.5 second gap between us and the next person, but that gap is closing quickly with our speed we have there in the straights. So coming back around here, we're now on lap 4 out of 7. This is a long freaking race. That's the thing about all these races for this series. They are fairly long, about 10 to 15 minutes a piece and whatnot. So I think I'm going to be making a got a little loose there. Gonna be making a separate video for each one of them, because otherwise, I mean, this video would be either extremely long, or I'd have to chop everything out of the video. So I guess you guys can let me know what you think, if you'd rather see it just kind of chopped down and just the highlights, or if you enjoy this whole actually kind of play-by-play view here. I've been experimenting a little bit throughout the playthrough of this game with just different types, either cutting some stuff out that's boring, or even just speeding it up when there's nothing going on. So you guys will have to let me know what you think of that. Yeah, there we go. We passed a couple more cars. Now we're up into 4th place. Coming in here into this corner again. Got to slow down real hard. Bring it in here. Once again, got to be real careful coming out of that corner, because if you cut in too far to the inside, it'll push the car around a little bit. So kind of dive bombing in here into this corner, 170 miles an hour through that corner. And as you can see, we are really gaining ground on them. We're now about a 1.5 seconds away. We got 2 cars in front of us directly there, and that's the 3rd and 2nd place cars. So really just trying to catch up here. And as you can see, man, we are faster than them. It's just a matter of keeping control of this car the entire time. I mean, that really was the challenge with these races. The speed wasn't necessarily the issue. It was just maintaining control of the car throughout the entire track. As you can see, we're actually almost a second faster than our fastest lap coming through that corner there. We're doing pretty well here. We haven't found a good point to pass these guys. Now we're coming into this dangerous corner here. Play it super careful, light on the throttle, just kind of playing it safe until we can get to the straight, because we know we can pass them on the straights. So we're just going to go ahead and mash it here, kind of draft. It's actually a little difficult coming through this tunnel, because you kind of can't see for a second, so you sometimes lose track of where the car is at. We're still almost a full second faster than our fastest lap time currently. Coming back into this corner again. Once again, I like to swing it out a little wide. The car seems to be a bit more stable if you swing it out wide there rather than cut in real hard. I think it might just be the elevation change, or the way the track is shaped there. But either way, the safe route is to kind of swing it out a little wider. Once again, coming through here at about 170 miles an hour. I don't know what that is in kilometers an hour, but it's fast. And then, yeah, we set our fastest lap right there. And as you can see, we just really gained on this leader here. So now we got to catch this guy. He's only about a second ahead of us. And once again, we know if we can just maintain our speed through these corners and not lose control of the car throughout the straights, we should be able to catch up with these guys. So, you know, kind of getting in here. I got a nice run on him, but I decided not to go for it. You know, it's too risky at this point. So we're kind of tied with our best lap at this point too. So I almost feel like I'm getting a hang of the car at this point, but at the same time, it's just so unpredictable sometimes that you just really have to watch out. So coming into this corner, now's when I know, like, okay, I'm gonna get this guy on this straightaway right here. So get a good run, get some nice speed going, draft him a little bit, get some extra speed, and we're gonna pass him right here into the lead. We just gotta start to pull away the best we can while also driving nice and smooth. Now, personally, when I get into the lead in a race that's, you know, highly intense or, you know, competitive, got a little loose on that one. I like to try to gain a little bit of a lead, and then during that last lap, I try not to let that pressure get to me by just driving a little bit slower. I don't push it on the limit on the last lap. I'll sit there and watch that gap. You know, right now I have a 2-second lead over this guy. You know, that just grew to 2.5 seconds, and then tragedy strikes.
Kidding me?
Bam! Look at that. I mean, out of nowhere, split second, you just touch the grass and the car is gone. So now my whole strategy is completely gone, because my strategy was going to be to just coast this thing through to the end. I had a 2.5 second lead, and I was just going to, you know, take it easy. We're just going to go through this lap. I got just a little too far to the right. I touched the grass and the car was gone. So now we have about a 1.5 seconds to make up here. You can see the car, you know, I was pushing a little harder trying to catch up. The car started to slide on me. I had to back off. Luckily, I was able to save it there. Kind of just coasting through this corner, light onto the throttle, coming out of this corner. We have about 2.5 seconds, 2.25 seconds to catch up here, but I know that this car, you know, can do it in the straights. So I'm not extremely concerned yet, because I can see him right there, you know, and you see that gap, you know, 1 second, 0.9, 0.8. I mean, we're gaining ground super fast. Gonna come in here. Gonna still brake at the same point, but, you know, we were able to get the inside there. There we go. We're into the lead. Coming into this final section here. Just got to be careful. You see I let off the throttle just a little bit. Didn't want to risk crashing in that corner. And then we know that flat out in this corner works every time. So we're just going to flat out all the way to the finish line. And there we go. We won.
Jeez. 10.5 minutes of that freaking sweating. It's 1 down. 4 more to go. I mean, realistically, all we need to do is do really well in like 3 of them, and then if we suck on the last one, I mean, we might still end up having enough points.